Hello and welcome back to Alternate Intelligence. Today we're going to be lightly touching on the art of manifestation, but first we're going to dive into our mental imaging realm of thought so we can prime that. So we want to start imagining our star tetrahedron, our soul vehicle. Go ahead and place it on our grid of reference right here in the center. Not to forget the air and the water, the fire, and the earth, the sun, and the moon, and then the soul vehicle right in the center. Now, from here we're going to dive back into the fire quadrant because we're going into new territory of learning. We're trying to learn rapidly, and we need to be able to be ever changing in this quadrant. So make some space there. And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's only one aspect of manifestation that holds all manifestations in common with each other: the use of ritual. When we think of the word ritual, we tend to think of extravagant ceremonies or smaller workings of the craft. However, it is safe to say that we can find rituals in our everyday lives. The more repetition the brain receives, the easier the information is interpreted and absorbed. Just like we may have the same routine getting ready for work every morning, or we may clean our room up and place things in the same places every time. The more we do something of similar environment, action, and thought, this is processed by the mind and it actually begins making abbreviations for these actions to be done more effectively. Most churches make use of rituals in order to project their manifestations. Many governmental ceremonies are done by ritual. Even our wedding day is a form of ritualistic manifestation. Now, the key to manifestation of a thought, idea, or memory is in a simple process of basic steps. First in this formula is making use of a naturally stimulating environment, object, sound, scent, or taste. Now in this case, I'm going to bring out the quartz. It's an object that is memorable and easy to be recalled. So imagine holding this piece of quartz in your hand and it being somewhat cold yet warm. And imagine all the edges of it being in your hand so you can stimulate that sensory and imagery based part of your mind and keep priming it. The next step requires careful thought and consideration. Once the state of stimulation is achieved, you must mentally correlate this thought, idea, or memory you wish to capture within the ether of it. Now, ether is a subtle energy that is found within all things in the universe. We can tap into this energy and basically automatically trigger thoughts and emotions and memories using this etheric energy. So here we have this quartz, which is full of etheric energy. And then what we do from here is divide the primary ether into sub-ether. Now the primary ether is the energy it automatically gives off, the original energy, what causes the memory. But then the sub-ether must be practiced both physically and mentally in a consistent ritualistic manner for the information to begin forming a bridge. So say we have this quartz crystal, and then we want to correlate it with this quote by Jesus Christ: "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." John 8:12. So if we can take this quartz within our hands and correlate this quote with that quartz over meditative exercises and probably hours of work, meditating, focusing on breathing, remembering the quote as a mantra, and then basically inputting it into the quartz so that every time we were to look at it or pick that quartz up, we would have that automatic sub-etheric thought that we projected onto it. Once this connection between the substance and the idea has been solidified, this information is then secured in the subconscious storage of the brain. For example, when you look at the stars and stripes of the American flag, what do you think of? The United States of America and everything that it stands for. A quite literal interpretation of a successful manifestation that has been cast among the masses of the world. We hold true to the rituals of singing the national anthem, as well as saying the Pledge of Allegiance before school. This manifestation is kept strongly held and could not be removed without the removal of all things correlated with American life. You could consider the American flag as an enchanted object, so to speak. A simple method for keeping the process of manifestation at true mental capacity is to return back to our basic principle of left and right brain. The left hand is associated with the creative, non-physical manifestation, and the right hand is associated with the logical, physical manifestation. So, if we go back to our grid of reference, we have the moon and the sun, and we have the right hand and the left hand, non-physical and physical. And then here in the center, the star tetrahedron, the soul vehicle, giving us the space and thought process needed to make these images and thoughts and memories from scratch. That's the whole idea. So, when we are actively thinking in these realms of understanding, we are tapping into conscious awareness of the subconscious. We are essentially communicating with the different polarized gates that lead to the back of our minds, where mass information is stored as a whole. Behind the scenes, when both hands are placed together, you are actively manifesting the connection between your non-physical manifestation and into the physical manifestation. Oftentimes, you want to be able to write these thoughts and manifestations on a piece of paper in order to consolidate the thought in this physical reality. Now, as far as non-physical to physical manifestation is concerned, the easiest way to understand the process of transmuting it is to first mentally picture the idea, thought, or memory you wish to project as detailed as possible. So, the idea or thought would be, in this case, the quote. Now we need to remember every detail of this quote. And then take that and begin a ritual of some sort. Maybe a meditational exercise, maybe a physical ritual, playing a certain sound. It needs to be something that makes sense to you in order to snap into that mode of thought. Think much like the desktop of a computer. You have folders and files which take you to different processes, and you are able to successfully navigate all of these forms of information. The same can be done with the mind. However, for physical to non-physical manifestation, most of the use of this process is to organize manifestations we have already accomplished in life before starting the process. Laying different objects before yourself and beginning to pick parts and pieces that lead to different paths in your mental process. Think about what a color reminds you of, or what a shape might bring you to, or what does the time of day cause you to feel. What sorts of memories does this location conjure up mentally? And let's not forget to keep bringing this information back to the soul vehicle anchor in the middle of our grid of reference. In due diligence and repetition, you can begin to actively remember strings of thoughts through a number of etheric mediums. And that's all I have for right now. Thank you for watching.